Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Well, it's not my kitchen right now, but it will be my kitchen, and another cook with me video. And today I mentioned earlier in the week that we'd be baking something sweet, and we are going to do nothing today. Well, not exactly. We're making a do-nothing cake. Now, isn't that an interesting name for a cake? This cake I found on Pinterest, and the person whose recipe it was, it's called the Southern Lady Cooks. And if you go to the southernladycooks.com, you can find that recipe there under Mother's Day cakes, or you can look at any one of the other many recipes that she has that look delicious. And we'll have to try a few more of those. But in the meantime, let's go down to the kitchen. I'm going to do a voiceover today because of some extraneous noise that we have going on. And but I will go through every step with you, and we're going to make a do-nothing cake. Be right back. Okay, here we are down at the counter. First thing I'm going to do is spray my pan. I am making an 8x8 or 9x9. I'm not sure which size this is. The recipe calls for 9x13, but I'm making half of the recipe because there's not that many of us to eat it. Okay? So first I'm going to start by showing you that this is a do-nothing cake. And it's a very simple cake. You don't need your mixers out or anything. You're going to start with 1 cup of flour, all-purpose flour. I'm using a 1/2 cup measure, so there's 2. And then it calls for a cup of sugar, and I am going to, I'm only going to use a 1/2 cup and not quite a whole 1/2 cup. Next thing that's going in is baking soda. And I'm putting basically the whole teaspoon worth of baking soda because I think it still needs the leavening, even though I'm using half of the ingredients. It's a small teaspoon, but it is bigger than a 1/2 teaspoon, okay? So that's the baking soda. And now we'll go with some sugar. And that is going to be a small 1/2 cup. Oops, and I forgot something. What did I forget? Oh, a little bit of salt. It called for 1/8 of a teaspoon, so I just put a little dab in. You always need salt in sweet things. Okay, now we'll get to the sugar. And you'll see it's not quite a whole 1/2 cup that I'm putting in. Okay? So now before I put in the egg, I'm going to take a whisk and just whisk this around a little bit and mix those dry ingredients and get it all mixed in together. Now we'll put in 1 egg. Again, remember I'm making half of the recipe. What I put down in the description box will be the original recipe for 9x13. A little bit of vanilla. And 1/2 of a 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple. And I just put it on my kitchen scale, and then I'm just going to take 1/2 of it out so I know when I have about 1/2 of the crushed pineapple. And I'll use the rest of it with cottage cheese. It makes a nice breakfast. I think I'm going to put just a little bit more juice in there. There we go. All right. And that's all of that we'll put in. And now we'll just whisk it up. There's no mixer. There's no beating it for 3 minutes. It's just get all the pieces mixed together, throw the flour all over the counter, and mix it up. And it smells delicious just because of the crushed pineapple. And you'll see it's a nice batter once it's all mixed together. I have preheated my oven to 350 degrees. Now let's bring the pan back. And I'm going to get out a spatula so I can scrape the bowl. All right, and we're just going to put this in the baking dish, and it's a perfect amount for that dish, to half the recipe. But let's not leave a whole bunch behind, it's too good. Now it says to cook this at 350 for 30 to 35 minutes. I'm going to put mine in the oven and set the timer for 25 minutes to start with. No, 20 minutes I think to start with, because I don't know how long it will take with this size pan. So let me get this in the oven and I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like when it comes out. Okay, now the cake is in the oven. While the cake is cooking, we're going to make the frosting. I have a half a stick of butter and 1 cup of sugar and a 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of canned milk. Now that's evaporated milk, not condensed milk, evaporated milk. And we're going to bring this to a boil, and we're going to boil it and stir it for about 3 minutes. And we're just trying to get that butter melted here now. And then after this boils for about 3 minutes, it's really just trying to dissolve the sugar, but give it a little bit of a candy-like quality so that it will set up later, okay? So we're going to get this melted here pretty soon. Here it goes. You can see the butter starting to melt in. If I can get a hold of it, there I go. And now you're doing this while the cake is in the oven, because we're going to put this on the cake when the cake is right out of the oven. So you want to make sure you have this ready. The other 2 things that go in the frosting are a cup of chopped nuts and a cup of flaked coconut. Now, I'm not putting the nuts in because we have non-nut eaters here. Non-nut eaters in food. They like nuts, but not in things. So I'm not going to put the nuts in. I would like the nuts, but that doesn't make any difference. We can do it without. So now we've got the butter melted. We're going to bring this up to a boil and stir it around and cook it for about 3 minutes. Good thing it's a voiceover. And it doesn't take too long to come to a boil once that butter gets melted in, because there's really not that much in the pan here. Let's see how it goes. But we don't put the coconut, I'm just checking the cake. We don't put the coconut, and it's not quite ready in the middle, I can tell. We don't put the coconut in until we take it off of the heat. Okay, so now you can see it's coming to a boil. And we'll boil it and put the coconut in and get it ready for the cake. Well, I forgot to press record before I put it on the cake, but let me tell you what I did. I made holes all over the cake, like a poke cake, okay? And then I just poured that frosting all over the top of it and spread it out the best I could. It sets up pretty good right off the bat, so you really don't have an awful long time to move it around once you've got it on there. So now I'm going to I have to let it cool before I can cut it. So let me let it cool for a minute, and as soon as it gets cool enough, I will be back. Okay, here we are, going to cut the cake.
But you know me, and have no patience.
It's not really cool yet, but you know me, I have no patience. And let me see if I can possibly do this part live, if I can get enough quiet time.
Okay. Just 1 second. I want to put a light on. Just as I went to film, the sun went behind the clouds. Look at that. Isn't that look delicious? I'm going to get a taste test. Oop. Almost. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is delicious. It's so moist because basically it's a little bit of flour and a whole bunch of pineapple. Let me bring it back down. Oh, sorry. I have my hands so sticky. Look at that. And it cut nicely. Definitely, you need to try this one. And even making the 9 by 13, there's not much to it. It really cooks up easy. Don't need to get out the big mixer. I can't believe how good that is. And it's called Do Nothing Cake. And we didn't have to do much, did we? So that's it. I hope you enjoy it, and do try this one. It is fantastic. Now, I mentioned I didn't put the nuts. I would like it even with the nuts, but we don't have nut families here. One has difficulty eating them and the other doesn't like them in things. So, try this for sure and enjoy a do-nothing cake. And everybody will be asking for seconds. So that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will be back next time with a craft, and I believe it's going to be a bumblebee wreath. So until I see you then, everybody have a great afternoon. Keep warm, keep dry. I'm waiting. This is now Saturday that I'm recording this. And Sunday, of course, we're at one of ground zeros for the eclipse. Fortunately, I'll be able to see it from the backyard. I'm not going to be out in any traffic trying to see the eclipse. So if you have a chance to see it, go for it. Make sure you wear your safety glasses. And I'll see you again on Craft Day. Till then, everybody play nice now. Love ya. Bye-bye.